Welcome to Lubby's Chat, a podcast about relevant discussions taking place in the Miami-Dade County Public School Board. Your host is the school board member for District 7, Lubby Navarro. Today's episode was recorded online via Zoom call during the 2020 pandemic. Thank you for listening.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to have you back here on Lubby's Chat. I'm Lubby Navarro, school board member for District 7. It is such an honor to hold my podcast this week, and I have a very, very special guest. There's nothing more important than the mission that I serve every day, which is to support our students, our teachers, and today I have the distinguished honor of having a very special young lady, our school board, Miami-Dade County Public School Board student advisor for the year 2021, Maria Martinez. She is a senior at School for Advanced Studies North Campus, SAS, speaking on behalf of the students. So she is elected by all the student governments in all of our high schools to represent the entire student body of Miami-Dade County Public Schools. What an honor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Navarro. Oh my God, I feel so honored. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I wanted to thank you and your team and everybody who organized this. As a student, it's very nice to be in a podcast, to be in an interview, to be in any type of place where we can voice our opinions. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, because this is another opportunity for us to get out there, for us students to have a voice. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. In the middle of a pandemic, you had no idea this was going to be like this your senior year. So what led you to decide to want to be the student advisor and sit on the dais with us?
Well, it's actually a funny story. I was between district presidents, which doesn't sit on the dais, but they basically run student government meetings on the district level, and student advisor. And my teachers, Dr. Marr and Mr. Lindsay, really pushed me to run for student advisor. They told me that I could do it because at first I was doubtful. I knew that the competitors that I would have were going to be just as good, if not better. And I was intimidated, and I didn't know whether or not I wanted to be on the school board, the big prestigious board that makes all these important decisions. So I was very hesitant, but I took my chance and I was bold and I ran. And
tell me, when you say you ran, I just ran for office and I won August 18th. And I know what it took. I was there knocking door to door. But how did you run? What did you have to do?
Well, since we're in district student government, we have different district student government meetings where all of the student government leaders of every high school come together, and they basically just discuss pertinent issues and current events. So at these meetings, we have those officers, the executive board, where they organize the meeting, and we have the student advisor. And the student advisor is the liaison between the school board and the district student government. At the end of every single year, district student government has elections. And what entails of the election is basically a speech, and you basically write a paper as to why you want that position. And following that, we make our speech in front of every single student government leader in Miami-Dade County, and then they vote per school. Per school has one vote. So that means Madre Lakes Academy, they vote for 8 officers, and that counts as one vote. And that's just how it is for every school. It's very intimidating. I had, I think, over 100 viewers watching when I ran, and it was a lot of fun. I made my speech, and I had a lot of really good competitors. It was a very tight race. They had to recount, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I know that the other people that ran against me are doing amazing things, because I was SGA president, and I still am, and I know that they were also very important leaders in their own school and their own community. So it was a very nice experience, and being part of district student government really gives you an insight as to community. When I first found out, it was through Zoom. The meeting that was held was through Zoom. And the first thing I heard was my mom screaming, because she was behind the door waiting and listening very closely about whether or not I would become the new student advisor. And I was very excited, but my expectations I was very intimidated. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be sitting there. I even looked at the video archives on today's school's website of every single board meeting of last year, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sit there. It's crazy. And at that time, I didn't have a mentor. Now I do. His name is Josh Rios. He was the student advisor 2 years ago, and he's amazing. But at that time, I was very scared. But when I found Josh and he told me a little bit more about the school board and a little bit more about how to really speak up, I felt more comfortable.
Very good. And, we are there also to guide you and help you. And I think you'll see that all of the school board members have a very loving heart for students. Now that you are the student advisor, and here we are, you and I were working very hard this school board meeting in October till almost midnight. And I saw you there. I remember just, you mentioned, Josh, just how hard it is also to strike a balance between when you have a school board meeting and then the next day you have an AP exam or you have tests, homework. How are you going to balance this? Because it is a big responsibility.
Well, me personally, I have a calendar, and that's just where I keep everything. And it's not a mobile calendar. It's not an application. It's a paper calendar where I'm able to just see what I have pending and everything that I have to do. I also like to time manage in ways that maybe aren't the best. I don't go to sleep very early and I wake up early just so that I can maximize the time that I have in a day, because I do have a lot of separate assignments, especially attending SAS where I have to take dual enrollment courses as well as high school APs. So I just try to really just take out time of the day to do every single assignment. And then for school board, I do that at the end of the day because I find that more fun. So I do that as I'm going outside. I'll look at the school board agenda items and I'll make a quick post. So I make sure that I get all my educational academic things done first and then leave all my fun things last, just because I feel like it's not really work or it's not really a job. It's more of something that I enjoy to do.
And you've hit the ground running. What are your, goals and things that you want to champion as a voice? Because you see that every time you get up to speak, all the board members, we're in awe, because having that student voice, it really centers us in terms of how we have to create policy. The things that you're listening to are very different than the things we're listening to, even though we do hear from students and teachers and everything that is going on in the classroom. And we visit schools, our staff visits schools, but you represent that voice. So how are you collecting that information? And I know you're talking to the whole Student Government Association members from all over.
Well, as for right now, what I'm doing for agenda items, when I see something pertaining to students specifically, because some things are financial, that maybe students can't really incorporate a lot of opinion into, but when they're specific student-oriented items, I make sure to post them on my Instagram. I do have a social media platform where I like to reach out to the 350,000 students that we have in Miami-Dade County. And I know that that's kind of difficult because that does include middle schoolers and elementary students who, of course, they may not have social media, but I like to gouge a little bit of audience there and make sure that I can engage with as much students as I can. So I post it on my Instagram and I basically just ask for questions, comments, concerns. And I do polls when it's, for example, this political bias agenda item that we had this past meeting. I basically just did a poll of, has a teacher or administrator, have you ever witnessed a teacher, administrator, instructor ever express political bias? And with those numbers, I write them down and I calculate it. And that's just basically how I do my statistics. That's how I've been doing it thus far. And with that, I present it to the board, and I hope to bring the student perspective in one informational gathering. And I feel like that's the most effective way to do it, using social media. Especially now with everything online, it's the best way to speak to students, because right now it's not like I can go to a school either where I can approach students and say, hey, how do you feel about this? Because, of course, we don't have the opportunity to do that with every single student. So I've been really trying to promote my Instagram account. I have 1,000 followers as of right now, and I'm very happy about that because it took...
Well, you have more followers than me. That's amazing.
Oh, really? I'm collaborating with Miami Schools, the social media account, to also promote safety and well-being among students. And I'm doing this Student Advisor Safety Series where I do little videos about wearing your mask correctly and bringing hand sanitizer that has at least 70% alcohol. And I try to promote wellness and of course, responsibility amongst the student body, because we are a very smart group. The Miami-Dade County is the 4th largest district in the nation, and we have very intellectually inclined students. And I feel like a lot of us need that little reminder.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and your family, Maria.
Well, I'm Cuban. Well, actually, my family's Cuban. I was born here in Miami, but my family's Cuban. I have a single parent, my mother, and she's my best friend. And I have an older brother. He's 21 years old. He went to Johns Hopkins University, and now he's applying for med school. And he's taking his gap year here, actually, because of everything with the virus.
Did he go to SAS too?
Yes.
Because when you said he's 21 and he's already applying for med school, very good. So you followed your brother's footsteps.
Yeah, my mother, She loved the administration, Monteguro, Lindsay, everybody. And she was like, okay, you're next, SAS. So, and I love it. I love SAS. SAS is amazing. And they have also become my family. And I have two grandparents I love dearly, my grandma Anaida and my grandpa Antonio and Caridad. I love them so much. They're all Cuban, and they make me the best café con leche with a pinch of sugar. So good. With a pinch of cinnamon, excuse me. And we talk Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish. And
so you're fully bilingual?
Yes.
How do you get to SAS? Because I know, these are choice schools. That means that you decided at some point in 10th grade, right, to leave your high school. How hard was that, Maria?
I jumped around from school to school. I've been to 8 schools throughout my academic experience. I was already accustomed to starting over, making new friends, having the new coursework, having the new teachers, having the new environment. For me personally, I adjusted very quickly, but it was hard in the fact that the coursework was so much harder. It was so much more rigorous because it was a lot of APs with dual enrollment courses. So I did work on my time management. I feel like I perfected it when I switched from my previous school to SAS.
Tell me a little bit about your classes and your teachers. What makes SAS so special?
I love SAS. I can talk about SAS all night, and I know that we shouldn't, but I love SAS with all of my heart. I've never been to a school. I've been to 8 schools, and all in Miami-Dade County. And I love the Miami-Dade County schools are amazing. So it's very hard to top amazing. But SAS, not only the administrators, just starting from the principal, right? The principal is Dr. Monteguro. He is the type of person that he will personally help you out with your issue. And that is something that is not common just because the principal, of course, has a lot of duties to do, especially an SAS principal where you're not only handling dual enrollment, which is MDC courses or college courses, and you have to deal with all the college intel personnel that you have to deal with, but also high school. And he does it so seamlessly. He always helps out the students, which is amazing. I love my teachers, Dr. Marr, Dr. Townsell, Miss Hauser. Everybody's amazing. They really provide all of the comfort and resources that we need. We have office hours, which isn't a common thing for high schoolers to have. High schoolers usually just have after school tutoring or before school assistance. But SAS really dedicates that time where we could go to our teachers if we're having any difficulties. And that's something that I personally have really taken advantage of. As I struggle in reading, I need that help, and I go to Green often. You'll see me in his office hours a lot. I'm always in his office hour just asking questions about a poem or about an assignment that we had. And they're all really, when you walk into SAS, you get the family environment. And that's because of the teachers.
You're in such a phenomenal place. So you want to go to Columbia University, and what area interests you? Major?
I want to major in mathematics. That is my favorite subject. I love math. And I want to go into law. I would love to become a lawyer and an immigration attorney.
So I want to know a little bit about you, Maria. What are your hobbies?
Well, in my free time, I love to work out. Now that gyms are closed, I work out here and I do yoga, and I do a lot of workouts just to keep myself active because I keep my brain active, and sometimes it feels like my body isn't on the same wavelength. So I like to work out. I love to play with my cat. Her name's Gracie, and I just play with her little toys. I also like to go with my mom to the park, which is such a weird place, but we just like to walk around because we're so I feel like now in isolation and quarantine, we've been in the house so much that we need to see the outdoors.
Very good. And so now I make that nexus why you want to talk to the students in high school about wellness, because you talked about mindfulness and wellness and how that is important also to connect not only the body, the mind, and the soul, the spirit of those 3 things together, really, which is what makes us really function well as human beings. So Maria, I don't know if you know, about a year ago, I had an initiative at the school board, and during, it's been difficult to really gear this up now during the pandemic, but it's going to start. It was supposed to kick off right when the pandemic hit. For me, one of my priorities has been to mentor young women. We have, the phenomenal 5 Dozen Role Models. You've heard of that program. When I got on the school board, I said, we don't have a mentoring program for young women, and I want to establish that. So I brought a board item to the school board, and it's actually in the school board budget to begin to do that, to pair young women with a mentor so that we can ensure that young women like you have mentors to look up to to be guided and so that you could hear our stories on how we got here. And so hopefully this year in January, we will be kicking off the Girl to Girl Mentoring Initiative. And that is going to be what I'm going to be working on for the next 4 years, God willing, really establishing the structure with the district staff that is overseeing that so that we could create a mentorship opportunities for girls all over the county. So you can imagine, the work that's going to take. So I want you to be part of that with me this year and help me push that out through the student government associations in all of the schools, so that we could help young women be empowered to either do whatever they want to do in their lives, be a lawyer, doctor, be an elected official like me, have opportunities, I think, by listening to those of us that have gone through this and have made it to our dreams and how they need to really be prepared. One of my mentors sits on the school board, which is school board chair Perla Tabares-Hatman. I was her administrative assistant on the school board. I learned a lot from her, and it's no coincidence I got to be a school board member, having such an amazing mentor, Miss Perla Tabares-Hatman. So always remember that as you're, making every step that you need to achieve in your life to have a mentor. And so seek that mentor and, nourish that relationship because it will be forever with you. So do you want to ask me any questions?
Yes, I do actually. So, Dr. Navarro, what started your journey in the school board?
I like to begin by saying it was my civic engagement. What led to my civic engagement? And that was in high school. I wanted to represent, just like you represent all the students, I wanted to represent all the students in my high school. So in 10th grade, I ran for class president of class of 1992. I am aging myself. And so I had to go around the entire school, form a campaign, vote for Lubby, tell them what I was going to do our senior year and the things that were going to lead up to 10th grade, 11th grade, the dance, the fundraisers, so that we could have phenomenal experiences in our last year in high school. And so people believed in me. People saw that I talked to people, I cared about people, I cared about my friends, and I continued to have the support of all my students in my high school from 10th, 11th, and 12th running unopposed. To a very difficult senior year, I went to Miami Springs Senior High School. That year, there were 2 girls that passed away. And it was right the week before homecoming dance. So we had to postpone homecoming dance. You can imagine homecoming dance is our number one fundraiser. So it was very difficult to recover after that. But we were able to go to prom and really recognize them and honor them. And so I think that led to the beginning of my civic engagement. And then my junior year and senior year, I participated in a program called Girl State. I'm a Florida Girl Stater. And in the Florida Girl State program, the American Auxiliary takes you to Tallahassee. And we have a summer program there at the state capitol with civic engagement opportunities. We basically go to the capitol and run the state government. So there, girls from all over the state go, 2 per county. I think it was at that time. And we run for whatever position we want to serve in. So I ran for the Supreme Court. So I had the honor of being one of the 9 justices. So I had to, as soon as I got to the Capitol, to the dorms, I had to run a campaign and people didn't know me, but I said, I want to go to the Supreme Court. So there was an election. We were able to meet many members of the Florida government and actually have mock trials, sit in the justices' chairs, be in the Supreme Court. That was such a phenomenal experience. So that's civic patriotism, community service. I think that's when the spark really just lit. And then I was class president. And I think from there on, I knew that I needed to be involved in making changes to my community, helping others. So at the age of 20, while I was at FIU, I started working for the Florida Senate. So from then on, it's been 26 years now. I've been in public service since I was 20 years old. So I think that calling comes very young to serve and help others. And I want to do that for the rest of my life in one way or the other. And I'm honored that I am a school board member who was a product of the school system. And so was my daughter. And now I have the responsibility of helping students like you. And I see the endless possibilities that we have to provide for you. And that is what drives me every day to help students like you. I wanted, to give you an opportunity to be on my podcast and be the first student ever. And I look forward to working with you. It's going to be a very, very important year. We're making history on the school board. the first virtual meetings. We're in a pandemic and we're delivering education in brick and mortars and also in a virtual setting. And yes, as you know, Maria, there's been a lot of challenges. And I don't know if you want to share any of the challenges that the students have been expressing to you. If anything else you want to challenge me to work on behalf of students.
Well, one thing very quick is just Zoom, the application itself for the students. It's something that for us students, we get exhausted because of the fact that we're staring at a computer screen. And this isn't something that the school board can fix because this is something that we have to adjust to. But I would love to have like a mental health. I know we have a mental health. We already had one a month, but I wanted to know if we could implement a pledge of a sort where we could really just tackle mental health, because especially now this year, it's going to be a very big issue because of everything that we've had to, as students, adjusted to. And this isn't only students, this is also teachers and of course school board members. I don't know how you, Dr. Navarro, are so put together, every single meeting, so organized. Right now you look amazing, and it's Thursday. I don't know how, because I understand that this has been a very unexpected moment. Everything that's been coming up to these meeting moments has been very hectic, and I wanted to know if we could implement a mental health initiative or pledge so we could really tackle onto those issues, because a lot of students have been reporting that the mental health during this time has not been the best.
We had Sally Alley on be my first guest, because when I started my podcast, I felt that the first item and issue that I wanted to tackle was mental health and mental wellness of our students, our teachers, because of everything that we were going on. So I like to set up a meeting with her and you to discuss maybe an idea. I really like it because I think, if we could do a kind of an awareness campaign, something that is snappy, catches people's attention, and makes it easy and friendly to communicate. Look, if you feel this way, this is what you do. 1, 2, 3, like 3 steps. Because I think a lot of parents, especially in our communities, don't know how to deal with mental health issues. And I think, sometimes it continues to be a stigma in many families, and we just, people brush it underneath the table, but it's something that cannot be brushed. It actually is built on people and it's compounded. And so we have to alleviate that and, alleviate that from them and find them the resources that we have available. We have counselors for the entire family. And so I would like to work on that with you, because we have a lot of children, and we not only help the children, Maria, we help the entire family through these support services that we have at the district. So let's see, I will follow up so that we can maybe bring her back with us with you, and maybe announce something that could also come to the school board, and we could make it widespread across the district. So I always say that I have a lot of ideas, but it's important for people like me, Maria, to listen to students like you. So I value your voice, because we're here to listen. People like you and in our community who are listening have many ideas. So feel free to always call me, email me at district7@dateschools.net. I'm very accessible, and, you could post it on my social media. Call me, Lubby. We're here to help you and to be able to really listen and find the resources during this pandemic to help you, your child, our students like Maria, and our teachers and our family. Our schools are our family, and we have to continue to support them. So I want to give you the opportunity to close, Maria, and then I'll close.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure being on here, and thank you so much to Dr. Navarro and your team for this amazing podcast. I think this is an amazing idea, and I hope that all the students chime in and have some fun in here. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Maria. It's such an honor to have you again. Listeners, you were listening to the phenomenal student advisor for the school year 2021. She is a senior at School for Advanced Studies, and she will be, God willing, attending Columbia University next year. You just heard it right here on Lubby's chat. She is a finalist for the Questbridge Scholarship, such a prestigious honor. And I know that she will go very far, and you're going to hear from this young lady all throughout this year. This may be the first time on Lubby's chat, but I know that the door's always open for you and for us to listen to you. And I am so excited that we're going to be joining forces on the Girl to Girl Mentoring Initiative. I waited for the right student advisor, and I know this year is the right year. We have to mentor girls, and we're going to do it together, Maria. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Lubby's chat. Everyone, please stay safe. we're still in the middle of the pandemic. Please wear your mask and please wash your hands and remember the importance of social distancing yourself wherever you go out in the public. Thank you, everyone. Be well. And thank you, Maria Martinez, for joining us.
That concludes this episode of Lubby's Chat, brought to you by Miami-Dade County Public Schools, produced by me, Janelle Yee, and hosted by School Board member Lubby Navarro. Please email District 7 at dadeschools.net with any questions or comments. Once again, our address is District 7 with the number 7 at dadeschools.net. For more information, visit our website, district7 at dadeschools.net. You can also call us at 305-995-1334. For updates, follow at Lubby Navarro on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.